Welcome to the Divine Connection Podcast. I'm your host, Christina Aroche, and together we are walking the path of discovering your true self and the alignment with your soul. Through these conversations, you will experience a deeper level of connection with yourself and the universe, and most importantly, you will trust in your spiritual journey ahead. Let's begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Divine Connection Podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about how to strengthen your intuition. I think this is one of the most common questions that I get is how do I deepen my intuition, my connection to spirit, my connection to my higher self, all of the things. So this is what we are diving into today. And I have 3 ways that you can begin to strengthen your intuition today. So you can start this literally right after you listen to this episode. And so the number one way that you can begin to do this is by actually practicing connecting with your higher self. So the way that I see your higher self is that is the version of you that is without the humanness. So if we were to strip away the human and just leave you as the spiritual divine being that you really are, that is your higher self, right? And the human is the one that comes in with the conditioning, with the beliefs, with the fears, with all of those things, which is okay. It's part of our experience here on earth. But the higher self is connecting to the pure divine being that you are. And so practicing that connection to who you are as a soul, who you are as that divine spiritual being is really powerful, because then you begin to learn and recognize and remember the greater spiritual truth of who you are and what you are connected to, right? The connection to source, to God, to the divine. It brings that remembrance back. It facilitates that remembrance as we connect with our higher self. Now, if you're asking, okay, that's great, but how do I actually do that? I'm going to tell you how. There's a few different tools and different ways that you can support yourself with this. The first one is that I actually have a free meditation on my YouTube channel. I'm going to link it in the show notes below. There's a free meditation on YouTube that you can go check out that literally the purpose of it is to help you in connecting with your higher self. So that is the first thing. You can do that meditation and, go back to it as often as you'd like and simply do that guided meditation to support you with really learning who your higher self is and how they feel and what they look like and all the things that, again, will support your greater spiritual development and connection. The other thing that you can do, and I highly recommend you to also practice this different way, because as great as guided meditations are, right? I love them. I'm not going to knock them. I always create them. But as great as they are, I do find that there is a deeper level of connection that can be experienced when we also learn how to trust ourselves and be guided by our own self in that spiritual connection. So aside from the guided meditation, I do also recommend that you sit with yourself and call on your higher self to come in and to support you, to be present with you, so that you can learn for yourself what that feels like when you do it on your own without any sort of guided meditation to lead you through it. Okay. And what I see the difference is too, is that guided meditation is kind of like, you got to make time for it. You got to sit down and focus on the meditation. Whereas when we tune into our higher self, you can do that on the go, right? So you can be going out for a walk and you can be calling on your higher self to be present with you. You could be driving and calling on your higher self to be present with you. You could be talking to someone and in your mind being like, okay, higher self, come be present with me. Help me to feel your energy and help me to feel your truth. Be here with me, right? So there's all these different ways that you can utilize that. And it really is about simply calling on that energy to be present with you. And when you first start this, you might want to kind of practice it where you're not as distracted, right? And kind of practice what it feels like to just call on that part of you and to bring it forward and to be present with it, right? Another way that you can do this is by literally feeling or imagining or intentionalizing that the energy of your higher self is being expanded within you. So it might feel like it's coming down from above and you're feeling it fill up your body and your presence here and then expanding through you, like into your aura. Or you might also feel it a different way that people experience it is through the heart chakra. So feeling like your heart is opening up and then calling on the energy of your higher self to come through and feeling how that light just shines out from your heart and then fills up your aura as well. So there's different ways of experiencing this, and there's no right or wrong way. That's why I highly recommend that you try to do this on your own as well, so that you get to understand how that looks like for you, so that you become familiar with what this process feels like and looks like for you, because it's going to be unique to you. Okay. And then the last way that you can also connect with your higher self is by calling on the angels to support you. Some of the most common angels that come through to help support us in holding the space around us as we call on the higher self is Archangel Uriel, Archangel Gabriel, and Angel Celeste. Those are the top three. Of course, all of them can help us, right? Whenever I name specific angels, not because other ones can't help us, but if you're looking for specific ones, these are the top three. Top three, hands down. Archangel Uriel, Archangel Gabriel, and Angel Celeste, they will support you. They will help you in holding the space for you in helping you to feel that connection with your higher self. Okay. So that was number one. The number two way that you can strengthen your intuition is by trusting in the divine guidance when you receive it. And I know that this can be a little tricky because sometimes we don't know that it was intuition or divine guidance that came through until after the fact, right? Have you ever had a moment where you felt this nudge or you felt this pull, or you felt this knowing that was like, this is going to happen or this is the thing or whatever, and then you're just like, you just ignored it or you did the opposite thing or whatever, right? And then it wasn't until after the fact that you kind of kick yourself and you're like, I should have done the thing, or I should have done this or whatever, right? I knew I was right. I knew it, right? Who has had that experience? I have had many of those kinds of experiences. And but the thing to remember is that instead of kicking ourselves for not listening or being like, I knew it, right? It's a way for us to look it back on it and say, oh, that's what intuition feels like, right? To think of those experiences and be like, that's what it felt like. So that the next time around, the next time that this happens, you have a reference point or a way to kind of see and know, oh, okay, now I know what that feels like. So I'm going to follow through with what my intuition is guiding me to do right now. Right. And in the moment, it'll probably feel like a risk or a gamble or like you don't know for sure. And that's the process of strengthening your intuition, is that you are in that place of the unknown. You're moving into the unknown. You're playing with the unknown. So it's not going to feel certain. Right. So that's the thing that's important to remember, is that when it comes to strengthening your intuition, it's not always going to feel certain, especially at the beginning or especially with like the bigger things or whatever, right? It's like you got to build this up so that the certainty starts to come in. And then the more that you do this, the more that you practice, the more that you actually follow through with the guidance when it comes in, that is when the certainty starts to build. And then when you have that intuitive hit, you're like, I just know, I feel it. The intuition is there. There's no doubt. I'm going with it. Right. But to get there, we have to move through the unknown waters, right? The waters of uncertainty that lead us to actually feeling certain in ourselves. Okay. So that's something that's important to remember as you are in this process of developing your intuition. Okay. And like I said, it's going to be really important for you to actually do the thing or take action or whatever the thing is when your intuition hits. Because the more that we do that, that is how we build the trust and the certainty. Because if you keep brushing it off and if you keep just looking back and be like, I knew it, you're still going to keep doubting yourself, right? So you've got to be aware and notice yourself when you are defaulting into the like brushing it off or not actually following through with what your intuition is telling you, and actually follow it and allow it to show you how powerful you are and to show you that the guidance is the guidance, and that, in that moment, then you can be like, oh my gosh, I knew it and I did it and I'm so proud of myself, right? So that is something that's important. And if you do have moments where your mind is wanting to doubt you, because it will, in those moments, it's simply about affirming to yourself, I'm trusting my intuition. I'm trusting in what came through. I know what this guidance is and I'm trusting it, right? And continuing to affirm that to yourself. And so then the third way that you can strengthen your intuition is by connecting with the beings of divine light and love that are here to support us. So this is everything from our angels, our spirit guides, to God, source energy, right? Like everything that when it comes to our spiritual source, our spiritual truth, and the energy of divine light and love that is here to support us, it all counts. Okay. So, and this is where you get to kind of play with it and follow what you feel most guided towards or what resonates most with you, right? For some, it is the angels. For others, it's their spirit guides. For others, it's God. Or for others, they prefer to call it source or the universe or whatever. And so there's nothing wrong with how you label it or what you call it. The point is that you're connecting with the energy of divine, right? The divine love, the divine light that exists, that is surrounding us, that is supporting us, that is guiding us. And so the more that we connect and channel and just practice that connection, the deeper that trust in our intuition starts to grow, right? It's through that connection. It's through that knowing that we're supported no matter what, that we're loved no matter what. That eases our sense of being able to trust and to lean into the trust even deeper when we get those intuitive hits. Okay. So those are the three main ways that you can strengthen your intuition. So I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know which one of these three you're going to lean into or practice. And if you have any other ways that you like to strengthen your intuition or that have helped you in strengthening your intuition, leave them in the comments below. It is going to help someone reading those comments. So post it below, let me know. And then the last thing I want to share with you is that if you desire to strengthen your connection to your intuition, to the divine, to the angels, right? To God, if you desire to know yourself on a soul level, to know your truth, to know your purpose, to know your power, I invite you to join me inside of the Angels Guild membership community. This is such an incredible community of people. And in this membership, what we do is we focus on strengthening your connection, on deepening your spiritual connection, and helping you to understand who you are, helping you to learn more about your spiritual truth, helping you to channel and connect with the angels and understanding how they show up in your life. And so we do this in many different ways. And so one of the ways is that we have weekly angel messages that come in and that I share with you, different practices that come in terms of how you can work with the angels to support you in your everyday life that are practical. It's not something that's going to take you hours. It's something that you get to integrate into your everyday life so that as you are living your everyday life, you are merging everything about spirituality with who you are and how you show up, right? So it doesn't feel like you're living two separate lives, your spiritual life and your regular life. It gets to all be connected because you show up in that way, because you are one at the end of the day, right? And then we also have many different trainings in there. So many different trainings that support you in your spiritual growth. And then we also have a featured angel of the month to help you to dive in and build your connection specifically with the different archangels. So I just love it. It's such an amazing community. The link to join us inside of the Angels Guild is in the show notes below. I hope you join us. And if you do, I cannot wait to see you there. And otherwise, that is it for today's episode. Thank you once again for tuning in. As always, I am sending you so much love and angel blessings, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. If you are someone who is seeking to be supported by the angels, to deepen your connection to the angels, to understand how to work with them in your everyday life, then I invite you to join me inside of my membership group called the Angels Guild, where we go deep in understanding how to connect with each of the archangels, understanding how they are here to support you, and to guide you on your journey of growth, of connection, of living in your highest potential, opening up to your gifts, living in your truth, and being empowered in who you are. Join me inside of the Angels Guild. All of the details to join the membership are in the show notes below.